Hi, this is Gavin from Wild Indie. We're here with Chris, who is the director and writer, is that correct, of 33 Floors?
That is correct.
Nice to meet you, Chris. So we have a bunch of questions that various people have put forward to you. How did you come up with the concepts? And a lot of it is set in an elevator. Did you ever think of doing it in a real elevator?
Yeah, so the concept itself came from the location. The previous short film that we did was all filmed on location, so all of the baggage that comes with that in terms of time restrictions and organization and whatnot. So we were really keen on doing something where we could build it and have total control and, you know, no restrictions from that point of view. And we thought that an elevator could give a really interesting element to the story. I mean, I really don't think it would have been possible to film it in a standard elevator because of the limitations that go with that. I mean, the set that we built was, in my mind, I just kind of imagined that it would look like a standard elevator, but in reality, it was so much bigger. I've never been in an elevator that big, certainly. And we really needed that capability of taking the walls away and being able to light it the way that we want to and things like that. So shooting it in an operating elevator just wasn't an option.
Did you have to rent space to do it, or did you have something where you could actually build?
Yeah, we were lucky because our producer Dan had access to a car garage, so we were able to get the location for free. So we were in there for about 2 weeks in total. We had about a week of building the elevator, and then we obviously filmed it, and then we had time to tear it down. But it did give us certain challenges because it was a working car garage. They were obviously repairing cars and things like that, you know, in the next room, which meant that we couldn't use any of the audio from the actual filming.
How long did it take you in the various phases in pre-production, in production, and then in post? Was it a long project, or was it quite short and punchy?
Yeah, it was a pretty long project. I mean, it took me quite a while to figure out what the story was anyway, which I'm sure that's pretty standard for most filmmakers, figuring it out to begin with. And then once the script was finished and we knew what we were filming, it was probably, we probably had a period of maybe 8-9 months in pre-production, which seems like a horrendously long time for a film with one character, one location, and a crew of 4 people. But the reason why it was so long is because we were on a very restricted budget, so we had to do a lot of research into how we could design and build the elevator and do it in a really cost-effective way. So we would look at references from other films and TV shows and wherever, and decide what look we were going for, and then find out how we could execute it. And because obviously, you know, if the elevator didn't look legitimate and it didn't look like a futuristic looking sci-fi elevator and be believable, then our concept, it would fall flat. So
when I first saw the film, I actually thought it was a real elevator, and then I saw the production pictures. So there's a display, the elevator display, and it flips. In my head, I'm thinking, was that an iPad that you used to do that?
It was, yes, well spotted.
Okay. And then the other one was, how did you do the pen? It was a really nice little effect. How did you do it?
Yeah, well, thank you for noticing that. The pen shot, for anybody who hasn't seen the film or can't remember, there's a shot in the film where there's a pen on the floor and it falls upwards. And so that one was done completely practically. So we did it with magnets. We put magnets inside the pen and magnets underneath the floor, and then we flipped the floor upside down so it became the ceiling. And then simply just by removing the magnets, the pen fell to the floor. So we shot it like that and then just flipped the image in post-production. So it was actually probably one of the simplest shots of the whole thing. But interestingly, the one that you wondered about.
I was thinking, how did they do it? Because it's so effective, actually. Really, I'm looking at it, thinking, is there a bit of fishing wire on that? And then you think, very simple. Magnets is a really nice way of doing it. One to remember for everybody. Victoria, she really kind of nailed the performance in that. Have you worked with her before? Did you find getting that performance difficult? How was it working? I mean, you're saying that the project went on for a long time. So when you get like that, I take it you got to know her as an actor quite well.
Yeah, we hadn't actually worked together, but I knew of Victoria previously, prior to shooting the film, and I'd seen her in some plays. She's mainly from a theatre background, so I'd seen some of her work that she'd done. And we were sitting in a meeting with the producer and the cinematographer, and we were talking about actresses. And Dan threw Victoria's name out there, and as soon as he mentioned her, I knew she'd be perfect for the part. And so we asked her, and she was well up for it. And so it was a really smooth process, getting Victoria involved. We intended to film it over the space of 2 weeks. It was going to be 2 consecutive weekends where we would build the set during the week and then film on the weekend. And then we had some changes to make to the set, so we were going to do that the following week and then film the following weekend. So it was going to be very neat and very organized. But the building of the set, you know, as things do, it went over like a day and a half. So we ended up losing the first weekend. And then we ended up, you know, trying to just grab the odd night and half a day here, half a day there. So it messed up our schedule a little bit, but Victoria was incredibly just willing to do what was needed. Because she was the only character in the film and there's no dialogue, we didn't do any rehearsals or anything like that. We just kind of figured it out as we were filming. She's just brilliant at just doing it first take and made my job very easy.
There's an expression she gives when she comes out of the lift after the incident. She got that really well. It was a very nice performance. What plans do you have for future films? Have you got anything in the pipeline at the moment?
I've got lots of ideas, as I'm sure we all do. And right now I'm thinking, I'm hoping that a feature film might be on the horizon in the not too distant future, but I also, the previous films that we've made have all been self-funded. So I would really like to do another short film that has actual finance behind it, because I think that'll be a really valuable experience. And I've got a couple of ideas for short films. There's a sort of satirical sci-fi comedy that I'd like to film, and there's also a short film that's set in the Lake District, so showing off some of the beauty of the English countryside.
Finally, we have a number of prize sponsors. Aputure very kindly donated. Oh, you can't see, that's a clever little camera trick there. See the way it's gone off. If I bring that here, there we go. So that is an MC travel kit. It's 4 lights and a travel charging case, because they're really useful little lights, and they're really good at adding depth in the background. So if you were sitting there and you wanted to add a bit of depth in the background, even for things like this, you can just stick them in the background and they just add a bit of texture to the background. They're really, really useful. And I've got to find a way of getting that to you in the next few weeks. So it's, yes, a well-earned prize, because it's a cracking film. I hope people go and watch it. And I hope you get to use these in your next project in any way. And if you do, Aputure now, I'm sure they'll be very pleased to hear it.
Thank you so much, Gavin. That's amazing. And let me just take the opportunity to thank you as well, just for having us and for allowing us to be part of the festival. It's been a joy. And getting to see our film, you know, at the screen in London was just, you know, a massive privilege. And so thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. It's a good film, really good film. Thank you, Chris, and thank you everybody else for watching. Thank you.